Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. I'm Carlo Prusa. Today I'm with the Maniac. He is Marcus McGhee. He is off of a huge victory this weekend. UFC 309 took out Jonathan Martinez, the ranked Marcus McGhee now. Man, what an incredible performance. What an incredible fight. I mean, the striking was on. You outstruck him. How does it feel, man? How does it feel to be a ranked fighter?
Yeah, man, it feels great. It feels great to get up in there and be doing work with some of my brothers that have been around for a long time. So we've always joked and messed around about me chasing and getting up there with them, and now it's here. So definitely blessed.
Going into that performance, I mean, the striking was definitely on display from the jump. Did you find an easy transition finding that range? Could you find it really from the beginning of the fight?
It wasn't how I found the range. I was just like trying to figure it out, basically. Because I still don't feel like I landed everything like as flush as I wanted to land it. He was doing a really good job of covering up and blocking a lot of shots, though. But I did feel like I had I feel like I had the space and range and the pace kind of on my side.
He did a good job of landing those kicks. Did that surprise you a little bit?
Didn't surprise me at all. We knew that that was a possibility, and I did a really good job of making sure I took those away early on, and then I let myself get laxed in that area. And again, it only takes one or two from a guy like that to break everything loose in there, and that's what it ended up being.
Following that contest, definitely some names that come to mind if you're fighting next. Jose Aldo, one of them. Is that a guy you'd like to fight next?
Honestly, I'd like to fight all these guys. There's this notion that that's who I called out, and it's like, nah. But I mean, there's a storyline for every single one of these guys, right? Jose Aldo fought Mario, and everybody's still mad at him for how Mario beat him. And I'm Mario's teammate, And then there's also some people saying, "Oh, you want to get payback for Kylie Phillips against Rob Font?" I'm like, nah, that's not it either. But Rob Font's a great fight as well. Eamon Zahabi, he pulled out the fight that we were supposed to have. So it's like, is that the next fight? He's above me now. So it's like all these different things, all these different opportunities, and I'm not against any of them. Really, I have nothing against any of these guys. They're all chasing the same thing that I'm chasing, and I have nothing but respect for all of them. So I'll be excited to figure out which name we are going to take up, and then start to figure out that puzzle.
You got to do it in one of the biggest crowds of the year, one of the biggest events, 309 Madison Square Garden. I mean, Donald Trump there. The place was absolutely packed. What was it like that whole fight week? What was it like being in that environment?
Honestly, I mean, coming from me, it was chill. Honestly, it seems like it'd be this huge thing, and I hate that. That's like where I got from. But it was a chill week, man. It was chill. It was a good week. We got I felt like it was good energy. Everything went smooth as far as me and my camp training. The UFC staff is always amazing. Like I feel like I vibe with a lot of them too. So Jonathan was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, for me, it was like it was just another fight week. But it was awesome to be a part of it. I'll say that. It was awesome to know that, hey, that this is new. This is Madison Square Garden. Like this is a mecca of fights. If George Foreman, Muhammad Ali's, the biggest names have come in through here. So I took all that in and I realized all that, and that's all great. But yeah, it was a pretty chill week.
Following the performance, following the victory, do you feel a lot of the tension, a lot of hype around yourself right now?
No, not really. I feel like if I don't know what it is, man. I don't think I just get that hype, and that's okay with me. That's been my whole life. My whole life has been not necessarily the underdog, but the outcast. You know what I'm saying? Like I think people always known that I'm dangerous, but like I'm always put on the outskirts of everything, and that's cool with me. I'll pick and claw for everything that I get.
You mentioned in Mario Bautista, that guy's doing really good things in the division, a good friend of yours, a training partner of yours. What's it like to be able to take on this challenge, be in this sport with someone like that by your side who's in the same division?
Huge, huge. I mean, Mario's been a big part in my game and what I've done in my growth as well. He's one of my favorite people. The guy just works, and it's been proven that a lot of us take after what his work ethic. You know what I'm saying? When I finally stopped working, I just told him too. I was like, when I finally stopped working, I looked at you and I just saw what you were doing, and I just emulated what you were doing. The work ethic that you had, the amount of practices that you were putting on, I just emulated what you were doing, and because your grind is unreal, and you can see the fruit of that labor. So honestly, I'm so appreciative of him, He helped me out a bunch for this camp. I mean, he's helped me out a bunch in life in general. So I love that guy. And yeah, man, he's one of my favorite people.
What is it like training over at the MMA lab? I mean, you guys got so much killers. It looks like a very family centric gym. Is that the case?
Yeah, I would say so. I think we have to push. I think the more you feel like it's a family, the more you're pushing into it, right? And that's what I always say. Like some people will come through and it won't feel like a family. But if it doesn't feel like it's a family, it's because you're not putting into the family. You know what I'm saying? It takes effort. It takes an effort, even when you want to be relaxed and doing your own thing. It takes effort on being there. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that that's one of the biggest things about our gym that keeps our so much success going is that we pour into each other. So by pouring into each other, we give each other the best looks and the best possible outcomes, you know?
You cracked the top 15 in 4 fights in the UFC. A couple years ago, did you have a number in mind? Or are you surprised you got here this quickly?
Yeah, yes, I am. Like it's not that I never believed I couldn't do it. It's not. So when I say that type of stuff, I always be like, dang, they're gonna think you just straightened out everything about yourself. I'm like, that's not it. It's just that like my mindset was never there, right? Like, oh man, I'm gonna bust into the UFC and I'm just gonna, tear up the division. But there always was this thought that when I finally got to get going, that people would be like, who is this guy and where did he come from? I always used to think that to myself all the time, like, man, that's I feel like that's what it's gonna be like. I'm just gonna pop up on the scene, and they're gonna be like, where did he come from? He's doing crazy things. So I guess that does equate to the same type of thing. Did I think it was, top 15 in 4 fights, 3 finishes, one decision over a super tough guy? Absolutely not.
If someone told you 10 years ago that you'd be a ranked UFC fighter, what would you say to them?
I probably wouldn't have believed them because I was still playing too many games. I was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have believed them, man. I would have told them that they're joshing me for sure.
We've talked about before, but there's a lot of sacrifices it takes to be a professional mixed martial artist. Before you get to the UFC, the not making much money on the regional scene part, the working the 9 to 5 job, the providing for your kids, the paying to train, to deal with the killers. When you make it to the UFC, the financial part, yes, it gets better, but the sacrifices are still the same. Is a victory over Martinez, being in this position you are right now, is that really where you can reflect back and be like, yeah, it's all worth it?
I feel like there's a lot of like that is great too, but I've been saying that there's so much outside of the accolades that I've been able to achieve that go into it as well. And maybe it's easy saying it from this side of the tracks. I know there's some guys out there that have put everything into it and fallen short and they feel bitter about it, and I could understand that side of it. But the more optimist side of me says, man, it would have been worth it as well. The person that I have been able to become is going to translate into wherever my life goes from here on. Whether that be a champion in the UFC, whether that be a bricklayer, whether that be a mechanic, wherever I go, everything that I've put into this career, everything I've put into this into martial arts in general is just going to translate discipline, sacrifice, grit, all these things. In a sport that is extremely unforgiving. There's all like you're gonna be a mechanic. There's all these pay different rates that you can get. Like, okay, it's going to take me 5 years to make this. It's going to take me 10 years to make this. I'll be able to retire at this. MMA is not like that. So if you can go into this thing with the same type of mindset, like, all right, man, I'm going to give everything that I can to be the best at this, give it all to it, then you can take that same mindset and apply it to anything else in the world.
Do you think are the biggest things that you've learned from your MMA career that, has helped you in life and overcome obstacles that you had to deal with in the past?
My one of the main things is circumstance, right? Like I have let circumstances in life depict how I act in so many parts of my life, and I think that mixed martial arts has taught me to, no matter what the circumstance is, stick to what I am doing. You know what I'm saying? Give everything that I can in that moment. Don't give up on myself, because it's so easy to be like, oh, the plan didn't go as planned. All right, well, I guess I'm not supposed to do this. It's a lot harder to be like, nope, nothing's going to plan. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong, but I'm still going to win. I'm still going to go to practice. I'm still going to go put in all this work. I'm still going to do it. And that's the win. That's where the real fruit is. So for me, that was one of the biggest things.
Throughout your life, you've been doubted on, you've been considered an underdog. You were the underdog going into the Martinez fight. Do you embrace that at this point? Is that something you embrace?
I do embrace it, and that's why I was extremely surprised because I was actually I thought I was the favorite going into the Martinez fight. I was a favorite all week long, so that's what tripped me out that I was a favorite for the first time. Not for the first time, but like because I was a really big favorite against Gaston. It trips me out that I am the favorite, But I also think that that's just like the play on the scheme. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm the favorite, everyone thinks, oh yeah, he's probably gonna win, but probably not. Like, oh, we should probably bet on him because his work has been showing that. But really, in all retrospect, he's probably not going to be that good. And then I come out and I do what I do, and that's how that plays out. So I'm not too. I feel like I'm always going to be the underdog, even if I am the betting favorite. I'm always going to be the underdog. Age is not on my side. People automatically judge me based off of that. My background is not on my side. I'm still only 4-0, in the UFC. I'm still only 10-1. Like I think these guys they see the danger, but at the same time they're going to do everything they can to discount my worth.
When you look at the rankings down, who's ahead of you, it's nothing but big names, man. Every fight is huge. Does that excite you, man? Do you get excited about that?
It absolutely does, because there was the part of me that was like, "Man, I'm gonna beat Jonathan, and and then there's not gonna be any real fights for me, and it's gonna be kind of crazy because like I have to try to jump this ladder and all these other things." And then after the fight, I was like, "Man, actually," when people started talking, I'm like, "Man, there's a whole lot of fights for me up here." So, and they're all exciting, and all these guys have done their work. These guys are, I mean, it's the top 15 in the whole world, so it's like how can you not be excited about that? These guys are gonna bring the best version of me out of myself, whether I like it or not. And that's what I'm here for. So I'm definitely excited to take on all these challenges.
Both you and Bautista, I really do think have a good chance, to make a very big run in this promotion, have a very good chance to be champions. Obviously, you guys are training partners, you're best of friends. Have you ever talked about a potential outcome where one of you guys has the belt and the other one's a top contender?
And we don't really talk about it, but it's an unsaid thing. Like we understand first and foremost, there's so much work that has to be done before that ever happens, right? For it to happen, it was crazy that it happened with Marab and
Aljamain.
Aljamain, right? Crazy that happened. For it to happen a second time with a different team, like that's a lot. But that being said, man, we've joked about it. I've joked with Kyler about it too. Like I don't think that if we got into those situations and we were in a position where it was being pushed upon us, I don't think that would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like out of all the gyms in the world, out of all the people, I think that we would. I don't hold on to like let's say that I did get the belt and then Mario was like, bro, I kind of want to fight you for the belt. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe you want to fight me for the belt. I'd be like, yo, all right, bet, let's go make this money. Like that's easy, right? Do we want to fight each other? Do I hope that any of that ever happens? Absolutely not. I want nothing to do with Mario Bautista. I want nothing to do with him other than being his best, being his guy. But that being said, man, honestly, no jokes aside, I think that if there's anybody that can just push aside ego and push aside all the bull, the noise, I think we could. And I think that's why fans wouldn't even want to see that. You know what I'm saying? They want to see bitter enemies and they want to see friends turn foe and all that stuff. And we're gonna be like, bros, let's bang this out. It's gonna be like, do they really want to see that? I don't think they do.
Before this contest, we've seen you in the Apex doing your thing. Now we get to throw you into a huge crowd, probably the most people you've ever fought in front of in your life. Did you feed off of that? Did you enjoy having a crowd?
I did feed off the walkout, honestly. I didn't. I enjoyed having the crowd, yeah, for sure. It wasn't like a crazy difference to me, especially once I got in the cage. Once I stepped in the cage, it was like I looked up around, I looked at the whole stadium. I'm looking around. They're playing his song. It's all stoic. I'm looking around, and I'm just like, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is dope. Yeah, this is cool, but it wasn't crazy. But the walkout, I felt like the crowd was vibing with the song that I picked and I was just like, yeah, this is where we're at. Yeah, so being able to walk out to my own song, that energy was sick. Yeah, that was probably the best part of it. I was like, yeah, even my coach in the background, you could hear him say, well, I like the walkout.
Obviously, you're known for some absolute vicious knockouts, some brutal knockouts. This fight, a little bit more of a technical performance. Great showing, absolutely. But coming into it, did you have a feeling this one might get a little more technical?
I did, and I kind of let it hinder my creativity. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a technical guy. I can get technical too. I've been really focusing on being able to be technical as well. But I think some of the best work I do is when I just let my artwork work. You know what I'm saying? And I did feel like I felt like I was limiting myself because again, when you're fighting these top guys, one mistake will get you out of there. You know, but at the same time. Uh, Big risk, big rewards, right? So like, like I should have been throwing different things, getting creative. I threw no spinning attacks. I threw very minimal leaping kicks. I threw a lot. I just threw hands basically. I just boxed a lot, and I think I landed more leg kicks than he did as well. A couple T kicks down the middle, but I just wasn't mixing it up like I know I can. And that was frustrating to me, but it was because of the fact that like I know how technical this guy is. He's looking for one chink in my armor to try and kick that leg. That's it. That's all he can, and he does a very, very good job at it. And I knew that that was the case. So it did make me fight a technical fight, which I think I needed to do. I think it's a great learning experience. I needed to be able to do that. I needed to show myself that I can do that. Needed to show the populace that I can do that. That I have great conditioning. That I have that I have a great will as well. A will to fight. A will to push through. Per, Obstacles, So it was good.
Something that's very commonly said in MMA is, there's levels to this. Obviously, when you're fighting guys who are unranked and when you're fighting guys who are ranked, they're ranked for a reason. With Jonathan, did you feel a level up? Did you feel fighting a guy that was just of higher competition than anything that you fought before?
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like I always say it, we're all just men, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, there's some that have higher skill levels as well, but we're all just silhouettes of different of a person. So I did respect the fact that he is on that level per se. And I just know that his weapons are sharp. The weapons that he chooses to use, he hasn't finished guys with them for no reason. Finishing guys with something twice is very hard. Doing it more times than that means that you're onto something there. So we just definitely had to go out there and respect the fact that he could find that one shot, that two shots that could change the fight, and we had to be measured in that aspect. At that aspect.
Since your success in the UFC, has the goal changed from when you first set out on this journey?
I wouldn't say the goal changed. I want to be authentic to who I am. I want to spread positivity. I want to spread love, and I want to spread as much as I can. I want to spread the gospel. I want to be a shining beacon for the kingdom of God. Like that. That's been my whole purpose throughout this whole thing, and I want to show my family and my kids that if you work hard for anything, no, it can be done. You know what I'm saying? No matter how old, no matter how far down the rabbit hole you've gone, that you feel like you can't come back, that you can always come back and you can always go and give everything you can to it. So nothing's changed for me. Everything, my focus stays the same. And even like looking at getting the belt and getting the top 14 and all those things. And I want to those things as well, but that is not the fruit of my labor. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds cliche, but that is not the fruit. That's not what I'm holding on to.
Are you more grateful for being able to have that platform to spread the positivity to help people who are in situations similar to you than to be a ranked fighter?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the only reason I really want the platform for, is to encourage other people. At, at the end of the day, I think it's less valuable to me than to the other people would like it. Cause like when it's all said and done, like all the fame and all that stuff doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. The only reason it matters to me is if somebody could take what I've done and they can look at their life and go, hey, I'm pulling myself out of the gutter. I'm pulling myself out of the gutter. I'm gonna submit to the Lord. I'm gonna give everything I can to my family, to my kids, to my wife. I'm gonna stop talking about what a good man should be, and I'm gonna be a good man. You know what I'm saying? So, or a woman. So for me in particular, that is so much more important than any of the accolades that I could achieve.
Now, what has the reaction been like from the family over after this victory?
They've been good. They're so funny. Honestly, it's like they're just as done with it. Like they love me and they support me, man. But it's just ironically funny how like it's just it's not that important to them, other than their dad being safe, like they're just like, oh, we're happy you won. Okay, well that's over. Like, uh, come back to being dad. Everything went back to normal. They haven't even brought up again, other than if I'm limping around a little bit or ice in my leg, but they completely the weekend is over to them. So.
Following this victory, do you feel like you belong on these pay-per-view cards going forward? Do you feel like you belong headlining fight nights now?
I'm not sure if I'm ready to headline anything. We'll have to talk about that. The dollar sign will have to go up for 5 rounds for sure. You know what I'm saying? That's 5 rounds. But absolutely, I would love to fight on the actual main card of these pay-per-view or be on the pay-per-view. That would be great to take that step and that bump up fighting on the actual main card or pay-per-view. Again, 5 round fights, man, I feel like that's not something I'm interested in right now. I'm excited when that time comes, but again, like I need to realize that I am 4-0. My next fight will be my fifth fight. Do I want a main event for my fifth fight? No, not really. Not really, unless it's like a crazy payday too, because then it's like worth it. But if it's like for the same contract, no, I don't want to go fight 5 rounds for the same amount of money. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm here to test myself, but I gotta make it make sense. So that's my whole thing on that.
Is fighting in Phoenix eventually on a big UFC card something you've been envisioning and wanting?
That's what I want for sure for the next one. That's what I hope that they do. I said it too. That's what they tried to get that's the clip that they took me calling out Otto on, right? Because I said, because I didn't, I was like, yeah, that was like, they're like, would you go out to Rio to fight him out in Rio? And I was like, no, I don't want to go out in Rio and fight him out in Rio. Like, I don't even want to do that. Like I'm an honest person, I'm not trying to go do all that. And I was like, oh, you know what though? He can come down to Arizona and fight me in Arizona. How about that? The UFC hasn't been back to Arizona. Why don't they bring him out to Arizona and fight me there? That was them saying me calling about, but really I was just talking about fighting in Arizona. So that'd be awesome. I want them to come back here, and I'd love to fight in front of the Phoenix crowd.
All right, Marcus, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what's next for you? When do you want to be back out there?
In a perfect world, I'll be back out in March, April time. That's the perfect world. I'm spending the holidays with my family, get back to training, take a little time to get better still, and then get back around March, April. And then, I'd like to fight 3 times at least next year. So that's the plan. April, August, November again would be kind of like a perfect year. Just, chasing greatness wherever this thing goes, wherever God decides to place my feet.
Marcus, man, thank you so much for talking with me today, man. Congratulations again. So happy to see you have a number by your name. I love, the positivity you bring and, the message that you put on for everybody, the fans, everyone involved, man. It's just an honor to talk to you always, my friend.
Thank you. It's an honor to talk to you as well, Carlos. And I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for bringing me on again. Appreciate you for always giving me good vibes, man. I'm always excited to jump on here with you. Can't wait till we line up the next one and we do it again.
Absolutely. Always, man. That is the maniac. He is Mr. Marcus McGhee. I'm the fight Dr. Carlo Prusa. Stick around, fight fans.